Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Tasneem. I'm the senior manager at 98 Percentile in the HR department. And today we did a wonderful drive with XLR. It was amazing right from the very beginning, from the very first day when I got in touch with them till today. I think it was an extremely smooth journey with them. There were multiple follow-ups done by the representatives in order to check that we would be, what time would be coming, how many people would be coming, what vehicle we would get. To that extent, they were so precise in giving all the information to us. It was extremely great to get associated with them and have a drive at XLR campus. So we are very, very happy that we got a chance to do this. Now, coming to the students, what XLR had, I think they were extremely enthusiastic. They were well prepared. They were aware of what they are coming for. I think there was some back-end preparation which they did that was commendable. They also were very confident and they were open to any kind of thing we were asking them to do. That was I think the best part. Now, I really hope we have a very, very fruitful association with each one of them and XLR in future. We are really looking forward to have many more drives like this.
Hi everyone, my name is Prachi Sharma and I'm the Senior Project Manager for IT Department at 90th Percentile. So today we were here for this IT Bootcamp, right, this technical drive and at XLR. So it was a great experience and I would feel that the students, they are the freshers, right, but it doesn't seem like that. So if I talk about their technical and cognitive ability, they all seems pretty good in that and that's what I felt. And I guess they have been taught pretty well at XLR, so that's how they have performed good in their aptitude and the technical tests. So I wish them all the best, and it was a very great experience over here.
Hi, this is Patan, Technology Consulting Manager from 98th Percentile. We visited XLR for the campus placement drive and it went very well today. Miss Ambika, Miss Pragati, everyone received us greatly here and we had a lot of enjoyable time here. The students even had great experience with us. They were interactive, they had good aptitude and all the technological skills they showed. I think they were all well and we really appreciate their time that they spared to us and I think we will be doing a great job. We are expecting a lot of people to be hired from them. Let's see. it was a great experience altogether.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
From entering into this cyber tower to exiting out of this tower, the XLR team has been received me with such a care and pleasure.
I am the part of this XLR since 4 months. From the third month itself, they have conducted the placement sessions from the third month itself, and this is the fourth month, and this is the 98th percentile is one of the placement drive I have attended so far, and attending to this drive is such a good experience for me. All the HRs and the team made us feel very comfortable and confident.
XLR helped me a lot, and I experienced a lot of things today. So I'm really hope to be I placed in that company. I'm confident about that. Thank you.
Am I audible? Am I audible to everyone? Okay. All right. So I think we are good to start for today. So before we start, let's revise on the previous day sessions. We tried to discuss on EBS, snapshots, and AMIs, user data, right? Any doubts from the last session? Any doubts from the last session? So I hope everyone able to see my screen. So the next module we're gonna discuss on S3 service. Okay. The module we are going to discuss on S3 service, that is nothing but a storage services. All right. Yes, the PPTs were available on the LMS portal soon, whatever we are trying to review and discuss. All right. So the demo session and the cloud computing PPTs will be shared soon on the LMS dashboard. All right. So as we have discussed on compute services, we are trying to discuss on storage services. As storage, it comes under a cloud storage, that is nothing but an Amazon S3. It's one of a kind of a service where we are going to understand and practice on the various aspects. So Amazon S3, it's nothing but a simple storage service. Okay, with the name of S3, you can see it's nothing but a simple storage service. We'll try to discuss on the simple architecture, how to use Amazon S3, how to store the data in the Amazon S3, moving data to and from Amazon S3, and trying to choose the regions for required for the architecture to be deployed. All right. So what is Amazon S3? So as we are trying to discuss the compute services, we are trying to work on the storage services as well within the cloud. How can we try to store the data? Yesterday class, we have tried to discuss on the block storage, right? EBS, elastic block storage, where the data will be directly attached to the server or the instances, correct? To the virtual servers. Here, it's completely external storage where it will be trying to store inside the cloud in the form of object-based storage. Okay, it's an object-based storage which will be available for providing high scalability, data availability, security, and performance. All right. So if we try to discuss on the difference between EBS and S3, EBS, elastic block storage, is an instance-based storage, and S3 is nothing but an object-based storage. So EBS volumes can be only attached to the in servers only. Okay, and this kind of a simple storage service we can try to attach to any kind of an application as well. That means wherever the data has been stored, if you want to attach to the code application, or if you want to attach this particular data to the database, we can try to do that as well. It's completely independent data that we can try to store and try to assign permissions and trying to configure policies. Okay, trying to configure the different configuration options. Let's try to understand and the deep on depth on this kind of a storage services. You can see it's nothing but an object-based storage services. It stores massive. Massive means unlimited amounts of unstructured data. Okay, the data can be in any form. It doesn't require to be organized or the structured. Any kind of a data like images, docs, the codes and videos, websites, anything can be deployed, and in kind of an unstructured data and the videos, any kind of a data can be stored inside the S3. All right. So here, what we are trying to tell, it is nothing but an object-based storage. Object-based is nothing but, object is nothing but a data, right? Our data files are stored as an object. That means each file that we try to store in a some particular folder of the S3, we are trying to call that file as an object. Each particular file of data, it is considered as an object. Okay, each file is considered as an object, and the object where we try to upload in the folder, right? That folder we are calling as a bucket. The data we are calling as an object, the folder we are calling as a bucket. All right. So data files are stored as objects in a bucket that you define. Okay. So what's the maximum limit? 5 TB is the maximum file size of a single object. That means you can try to store a single data file up to 5 TB. You can see the single object data file is nothing but a 5 TB. So all objects have a global accessible unique URL, universal namespace. That is nothing but a universal space. It is having a URL. That means, for example, if I try to upload some particular file or a data, we can try to upload that into a bucket, and that particular file can be shared in the form of a URL. For example, https:/demo file/US West Oregon. So that URL, it can be provided to anyone who want to access that. That means it is accessible globally. So whenever you try to upload any object, each object will configure, it will be consisting as a different aspects like a key value, version ID, values, metadata, and sub resources. It is having IDs. It is having a version IDs. It will having a key IDs. It is having a type. It is having a size. So all kind of a configuration which is we can see up when we try to upload a single object. So which is not possible in Elastic Block Storage. Elastic Block Storage is a simple storage where we directly attach to the server, but it is completely object-based storage where we can try to utilize many options. Okay. So it provides developers and IT teams more, as in terms of aspects with a secure, durable, and highly scalable object-based storage. It is easy to use too with a simple web services interface. That means AWS is trying to provide an interface where we can try to upload, store, and retrieve any amount of a data from anywhere on the web. Okay, that's how it is going to be benefit for us. So files are stored inside a folder that is nothing but a bucket. A bucket is kind of a folder available in S3 to store the files. Okay, simply you need to upload the data inside the bucket, then you can try to have that data stored. Amazon S3 is a pioneer in the cloud data storage and has uncountable benefits. Let's look at first 5 most prominent ones. Okay, it's because of its reliable security. That means this Amazon S3 trying to offers a security features by protecting unauthorized users from accessing your data. Okay, all-time availability. So this data is available everywhere across the regions that you would like to deploy and upload the data. So Amazon S3 is trying to promise 99.99% of durability and availability. In the cost specific, it is of very low cost because it is trying to provide standard storage classes. That means based on the project requirements, how much time your data want to be stored and how frequently you want to access the data. Based on that, the cost has been defined. Okay. If you try to choose that storage classes, based on that only the cost will be variable. Ease of migration. So the data can be migrated from one particular bucket to another bucket, or one particular zone to another bucket zone, or one region to another region. And the simplicity of a management where it is trying to provide AWS console benefits where we can try to configure, manage, and retrieve the data. All right. So if you can see newly created S3 buckets, how to secure this Amazon S3 data. Okay, how we can try to secure it. We can try to see that. Securing Amazon S3 buckets and objects. Newly created S3 buckets and objects are private and protected. That means the data which you upload in this particular folder buckets, by default, these are blocked and private. Okay. Whoever you want to give the access, you need to actually enable the permissions. When use cases must share Amazon S3 data. So you always need to make sure to manage and control the data access, that you who want to access the data inside the S3 bucket, who can try to control the permissions, who can try to see the data. Should it be an encrypted data? If you want to have encryption enabled, you need to enable that. Always follow the principle of least privilege. That means you always need to give a less permissions to have an access to your data inside S3 bucket. Okay. So these are the various tools which will be helpful to control access to the Amazon S3 data. Okay. You can see block public access feature. So this is nothing but to block the access over the internet of the data which is stored inside the cloud in your S3 bucket. You can try to have this control feature, block public access. If you enable the public access, you can try to have an access to users over the internet. IAM policies. IAM policy is nothing but users can authenticate using IAM. It is nothing but a security authentication tool where you can try to control and create the users to access the data inside the cloud environment. And there is a concept of a policies where you can try to define access to a specific object. That means if I have 100 files or 100 objects in a folder, I can try to control who can access which file. Okay. I can try to control who can access which file and they will be able to access that itself. So bucket policy is nothing but the permissions which will be managed in the bucket level. ACLs are nothing but a legacy access control mechanism which will be managed under object level. Okay, these are kind of a different controlling access where we can try to manage. URLs. For example, if I have a data of single file I want to share with a user, okay, I want to have that object to be available for a user. So what I'll do, I copy the URL and give to the user over the internet. So I can try to define the time. For example, if they have to access, I'll give a one hour time limit. After that, the link will expire. Then they can't access the data inside your folder bucket. Pre-signed URLs. You can grant time limited access to others with a temporary URLs. Temporary means limited time duration access. It is trusted advisor is a one more feature where it will try to have a make sure of permission check. So what kind of a permissions we can try to assign, we can try to do that. So these are nothing but a securing Amazon S3 buckets. Buckets means folders, objects means a files or a data. Okay. The three general approaches to configure access. How can you try to give an access to data inside your folders? Configure the appropriate security settings for your case on the buckets and the objects. By default, as I told you, by default, the permissions are blocked to access the data inside your S3. That means anyone else cannot access your data because which is completely private. If you want to enable the access to anyone to access the data in your S3 bucket, what you need to do? You need to enable the public access. Okay. If you enable the public access, then who can access the public also outside internet, they can be able to access your data. Or else, if you want to control with the specific users, like user B want to access the data inside your bucket, user B want to block, then you can try to have a controlled access. So only the users authenticated who want to give a permissions, they can access. So it's kind of an access policy applied to Amazon S3 security settings. So in this way, the private access, public access, controlled access, these are the different approaches where we can try to give the permissions to users to, have access to your data so that they'll try to see your data. Okay. So let's try to create a sample file, how it looks like. For example, let me show you. Let me log into the console. So if I go to the search, the storage services will be under S3 will be under the storage services. See, under the storage, S3, scalable storage in the cloud. So you can see this console. This is how the console looks like. Everyone are able to see the screen, right? If you see, these are the folders. That means these are the buckets. Can you hear me, guys? I'm audible, right? Okay. So seems to have got important meeting. That's fine. So now if you see my console, Amazon S3, here you can see these are the buckets. On the left side, if you click on the buckets, I have already a buckets which are already in place. Buckets means folders. Inside these folders only, we will try to store the data. Okay. You can see I have a different buckets created under different regions, and the access, it can be objects can be public or objects can be private. That means private access. That means here you can see the public. Objects can be public. Buckets and objects are not public. That means the access is not available for the users online over the internet. Creation, whenever the data has been created. For example, there is a bucket with a demo bucket 3 to 1. This is a folder. If I open this folder, I have some data, for example. Okay. If I want to upload some data from my local computer, okay, I'm just trying to upload any kind of a data, for example. So if I just try to push, I can try to drag and drop, or I can try to upload directly. I have some sample data. For example, if I try to upload this image, sample image, okay, I'm trying to upload some sample image and I'm clicking on upload. You see, upload status, details, view status. The data has been uploaded. It has been succeeded. I'll go to the bucket again. I have a 2 objects. So this is the latest object which is uploaded. We are on this timestamp, December 12th, 2023. I'll open this. If you see this object, it has different set of properties. Properties, I can try to have a see the properties, permissions as well. Okay. Under the properties, it will try to show who is the owner, who uploaded this object, which region it has been uploaded, where it got modified, what is the size, what is the type, the S3 URL. Okay, it has been stored under S3 colon slash slash. This is the bucket name and the object name. It has an Amazon resource name. It is kind of an Amazon specific unique ID name that is trying to store here. It has a tag ID and the object URL https:// demo bucket 321 s3.uswest image.4gpg. If I try to copy this object and try to paste in the cloud, I can try to see. You can see what it is trying to show it. That does not appear to be having access denied. It is trying to show as access denied because I did not given any access to this particular object inside this folder. That's why it is not giving an access. Why it is giving access? Because this object is not public. You can see if I go to the permissions of this object, you can see the person who uploaded the object, he have access to the read and read write access. That means only me. But the public access, it is blocked. It is empty. The public access, it is empty. Okay, it doesn't have any public access. If I want to give an access to public for the users, I can try to enable the public access here. Read. Okay, it is trying to tell. When you grant access to the everyone or authenticated user group guarantee, anyone in the world can access this object. Are you sure you want to access? Yes, I understand the effects of these objects. Click on tick mark and then save changes. Now I have successfully edited the access. So as I told you, the access control for this particular object can be done with the help of access control list. It is an access control list mechanism where you can control the level of access from the object level. Okay. Now when I go to the properties, I'll copy the same object and try to paste here. I'll refresh this URL. See, I can try to see the object over the internet. Even I can try to provide this URL so that you can also access this particular data. I'm just pasting in the Zoom chat. Confirm me if you are able to access this data. Open the URL in the Zoom chat, which I just try to ping, and try to see if you can access and see the data which I uploaded in my bucket. All right. So in this way, I can use this kind of a S3 service to provide access across the internet and trying to provide and configure the permission. See, I have a different kind of a permission setup which will be available over the internet. All right. I can try to go to the buckets. As I told you, I have to create, if I want to upload more files, I can try to do that as well. I can try to upload files, or else I can try to upload some particular folder as well directly. Okay. I can upload and add files or add folders. I can give an access. Click on upload. See, it is uploading. My data has been uploaded. See, I have a different files. So what I'll try to do, if I want to give, we have to make sure we have to very much secure enough to give what kind of an access you want to give, to which user you want to give access, to a specific users with an AWS authenticated users. You can see AWS authenticated users, anyone with an AWS account, you want to give access to them, or everyone over the public access means internet. Over the internet, you can give access as well. You have to make sure security is a very important. The data is also very important. You have to give access only to the specific data that you want to give access with the public access. Otherwise, the public access should be always blocked. Okay. For the testing purpose, we are trying to do it, but you have to always block the public access. That you need to make sure. So this particular public access I have given read and read. Okay. So this is the data. If I want to give access to everything, I simply go and I'll try to give access to everyone with a make public access. Make public using ACL. That means you can try to grant access to everyone. I can give access to everyone for this particular data inside my bucket. Okay, this is how I can try to create a bucket and a folder. For example, I'll try to create one more bucket. Create bucket. You can see buckets are nothing but a containers for a data stored in S3. You can try to create a bucket in a specific nearby region which is reliable, providing reliable performance where you want to access. US West Oregon 2. Okay, I'm trying to create a bucket. So this bucket name must be unique with a global namespace and follow the bucket naming rules. So one person who already used the bucket name, you cannot use it. So it has to be very unique. Test bucket 321. Okay, I'm trying to create a bucket. ACLs, object ownership. As I told you, ACLs are nothing but an access control list, which will try to control the permissions of an object. If you disable here, then access to this bucket, its objects, it's specifying using only policies. If you enable here, then you need to see like who can control the access to the objects, bucket owner or the object writer. Whoever is creating the bucket, they will be able to control the permissions. Whoever is uploading the objects, they will be able to control the permissions. Okay, I'm trying to assign as bucket owner because I am the one who is creating bucket. I'm clicking on ACLs enable and bucket owner. Okay, block public access. We have a block public access. That means by default, this is blocked. Okay, so this is nothing but a public access is granted to the buckets and objects through ACLs, bucket policies and access points. So we can try to enable this public access so that we can try to give internet access over the online. So that means you can try to enable this bucket public access and ACLs even after you create a bucket. That means we can change the settings of bucket settings later as well. Okay. For example, I'm trying to go with a disabled here. Okay. ACLs disabled, block public access. Okay. And I'll go with the default settings. Let us see what happens. See, someone is using the bucket name with same name already existing. I'll try to remove this. 328. I'm disabling ACLs disabled. Block all publics is blocked. Internet access is blocked. Let me try to create a bucket. So this is a test bucket 328. Okay, test bucket 328. Buckets and objects are not public. I'll see what can be done. Click on upload. I'll upload some sample data. index.html I'm trying to upload. Okay, let's see. I just block the all access. Let's see what happens. I'm opening the object here. Okay, so when I'm trying to copy this URL and I'll try to paste in the Google, let's see what it is. Of course, by default, it is trying to say access denied. Why? Because we have tried to block the access. So that's fine. Now what I have to do, I have blocked the bucket permissions. I also blocked the object permissions, right? ACLs has been disabled and bucket permissions has been disabled. I'll try to enable the permissions from object level first. Let's see. You can see my edit button has been disappeared from here. Why it is disappeared? Because you remember when I trying to create the bucket, I try to block the access from bucket level. That means folder level. You can see this bucket has the bucket owner enforced setting applied for object ownership. I did not enable the ACLs enabled. That's why it is blocked. I cannot edit the public access here. See, it is blocked. I cannot edit. So to edit these settings in the object level, first I need to control the bucket level. So I'll try to go to the bucket level again. So I can try to change the settings anytime. We can change the settings of a bucket creation as well. See, ACLs has been disabled. If I try to enable, then only I can try to change the settings. Yes, I can try to change. I acknowledge. It is asking the acknowledge button. Who want to assign permissions? Bucket owner. Yes, I want to have save changes. I assign the bucket level permissions again. Now I'll come back to the object level permissions. Now see, I'll refresh this. Let's see what happens. Now this edit button should be popping up. See, this edit button is coming up. Why it is coming up? Because I try to enable the access from the bucket level. So we have a two kind of a permissions, bucket level permissions and object level permission. This is object level permissions. This is bucket level permissions. Does that sound clear? Are you able to understand, everyone? Yes or no? All right. So earlier, this object level permission has been blocked. Why? Because when I'm creating a folder bucket, directly I'm trying to block the object level access, that the object level permission should be disabled. Earlier, the object level permission should be disabled here. That's what I've did, right? Here, earlier the object level permissions has been disabled. Once I try to enable, then I can try to control the permission to another object level, and then I can give public access over the object level. See, public access. Still it is not coming. Can anyone guess why it is not coming? I enabled the public access for the objects edit, but I'm still not able to give internet access. Why it is not coming? Anyone guess? It is blocked. You can see everyone public access, it is grayed out. The read and write, I cannot do it. I cannot give this URL. See, I cannot trying to give this access to the URL directly from object level. Why? It is, grayed out. I'm not able to edit. I'm not able to change anything. Why? Why it is not enabled? ACLs are enabled. ACLs are enabled. That's why I'm able to edit the ACLs here. But I cannot give public access from the object level. Why? Anyone? If you remember, when I'm trying to create a bucket, directly the public access to these objects has been blocked from the bucket level. When I'm creating a bucket, you can see block public access, block all public access. It is enabled. That's why I'm not able to edit here. Simple. Okay. If I try to click on edit, I'll click on unblock. I'll click on save. Updating the block public access settings for this bucket will affect all the buckets and objects. This may result in some objects becoming public. Yes, you want to confirm? Yes, I want to confirm. If I try to confirm, now if I go and try to edit these settings, let me refresh this, if it is visible or not. See, Now it is enabled. You are able to see my screen? I'll click on read. I'll click on read. See, the block public access has been enabled. I understand and click on save. Now my object, it is completely available over the public internet access so that I can give access to the users. If I refresh this, see, welcome cloud XLR text index file. So in this way, I can try to provide and modify the permissions from bucket level and the object level. Was that concept clear? How to create a bucket and how to upload object, controlling the ACLs. This is how I can try to create the buckets and upload the data. So any doubts on this? While creating a bucket, you see there is an option called encryption. Encryption is nothing but securing your data on wherever the data has been residing. So we have a different encryption options. We'll try to see what are those encryption. Someone have a doubt on controlling objects, buckets and object levels. So I mean to say, this is providing a very good feature. That means you can try to control the permission while creating a folder and also while uploading the data inside the folder. There are many ways to control the and secure your data. That's what it is trying to tell. Is it clear? What confusion you have? It doesn't require to delete buckets until we don't have us data inside this. Under the free tier account, if I go S3, whenever you want to understand the free tier limitation, type AWS S3 free tier. You will get to know the information. Let's see first, when we try to practice lab on such services. Amazon S3, we have a 5 GB of a data we can store inside the bucket. Okay, 5 GB of a standard storage only. 2000, 20,000 get request, 20,000 put request, 2000 put request. It means how much hits that is going to have inside your particular objects. Get request and the put request. And the data you want to store is nothing but 5 GB. Yes, bucket level means controlling entire folder itself. Entire folder and also the data inside the folder. Object level means controlling the permissions for that particular object itself, like a read access, write access, and who want to access. That is nothing but an object level. If you block the public access directly from the bucket level, you cannot do anything from object level. So bucket level permissions are main. They are important. Okay. So this is how, and we have a standard storage of 5 GB of a storage we can try to utilize. Let's see some more aspects. So we are trying to discuss on the encryption, correct? We have an option called encryption. We'll try to see. Encrypting objects in Amazon S3. What is encryption? Encryption encodes the data with a secret key, which makes it unreadable. For a security purpose, there is a feature which has been defined to read or have trying to view your data, which is trying to have in the encrypted form by default, right? So to see the data inside that particular bucket, we can also configure the secret keys. Okay, secret key is simply nothing but you have a door room where the door is locked, you have to unlock, then only you can try to enter the room. In that way, you can try to see the data when you have that secret key itself. Only users have the secret key can decode the data. Optionally, we have a service called key management service to manage the secret keys. This is nothing but one of the encryption method. And also we have a server side encryption and client side encryption. Server side encryption means we try to create encryption inside the server by enabling the server side encryption option while creating an option, bucket here. See, server side encryption with Amazon S3. What it will try to do on the bucket, enable this feature by selecting the default encryption option. What it will try to do? Amazon S3 encrypts the objects before it saves the objects to the disk and decrypts the objects when you download them. So it will automatically try to encrypt the data in the server side, that means from the cloud level. And when you try to download the data, when you got an access, then the data will be decrypted. There is one more kind of an option that is nothing but a client-side encryption. What is client-side encryption? Encrypt the data on the client side and upload the encrypted data to the Amazon S3. That means when I'm trying to upload the data from my network or my computer, I'll try to have the data in the encrypted form. Okay, when the data is uploaded in the Amazon S3, the data will be decrypted. In this case, we will manage the encryption process. That means the person who upload the data, they have to manage the encryption process. This is nothing but encryption methods. Okay. So this is about encryption. Now we need to understand the pricing, right? For example, we are need to actually save the cost. You know, the cloud is all about trying to save the time, save the cost, save the infrastructure, and trying to have a reliable performance. In that aspects, in terms of a cost, you know, these are providing this S3 services trying to provide different kind of a storage classes. So what kind of a data you upload, how much time you want to save the data, and how frequently you want to access the data. Based on that, the cost will be defined. Okay. For example, I have a bucket, test bucket 328, correct? This is the bucket name. And if I want to upload some object, okay, I want to upload some object, you can see I have to define how it can be uploaded. I'll just show you. Here, under the properties, we have a concept called storage classes. That means how your data has to be uploaded, in which pattern, in which form, and how the data has to be processed. That kind of a possibilities, everything will be defined under the storage classes. Amazon S3 offers a range of storage classes designed for different use cases. Okay, you can see they have provided some hyperlinks as well. Each object in Amazon S3 has a storage class associated with it. For example, if you list the objects in S3 bucket, the console shows the storage classes for all the objects in the list. Okay, you choose a class depending on use case scenario and performance access requirements. All of these storage classes offers high durability. That means your data is available and durable and providing efficient performance. Okay. So if you see, these are the different storage classes. That means S3 standard, S3 intelligent tiering, S3 standard infrequent access, S3 one zone infrequent access, Glacier and Glacier Deep Archive. So based on the pricing, based on the workload, we will have these kind of a storage options. Okay. Now if I try to open this, see, it is trying to charge $0.023 per GB. Per GB of a data you upload, it will try to charge this specific price. S3 standard. And if you want to see more information about S3 standard, for example, you should see this. Yeah. These are the comparing the Amazon S3 storage classes, S3 standard infrequent access. By the way, what are these storage classes? Whenever you want to upload the data, you want to access the data very frequently. That means more than a month. Then S3 standard is a best storage class which is recommended. And it is having a $0.023 per GB. Whenever you want to have the data that is stored inside a folder, which is you want to have infrequently accessed once a month with a millisecond access, then S3 standard infrequent access is a preferable one. It is also providing 99.9% durability, available more than 3 availability zones, and the charges are based on per GB. S3 intelligent tiering. data with unknown patterns, like it can be accessed frequently or unfrequently. You can try to upload the data. Okay. So intelligent tiering is one of kind of an access storage level where data with unknown, changing or unpredictable access patterns. So this kind of an S3 intelligent tiering will be useful when a projects when monitoring and automation fees. Correct? So that means you are uploading the data. Based on the data you apply, the charges will be based on. Okay. So what is the price for intelligent tiering? It is trying to charge $0.023 per GB. And first 50 TB $0.022. So this is one kind of a thing. S3 one zone infrequent access. This is intelligent tiering is available more than 3 availability zones. One zone is available only one availability zone. So that's why the price is also less. Okay. So not resilient for the loss of availability zone. So when you have data to be available in one availability zone, this is a preferable method. This is quite cheaper than this. And Express one, where Express one zone objects are stored in a single availability zone that you choose, whatever the data zone which we try to choose, with a millisecond access for latency sensitive applications with a fast retrieval. Glacier instant retrieval. What is a glacier? You can see glacier means archival data. Okay. S3 Glacier is nothing but an archival data. This is nothing but a cheaper storage service. That means a long live archive data which you access the data every quarter. That means every 3 months, not frequently. You can see S3 standard we access every time frequently with a millisecond access. That's why the price is more. Correct? The price is more. But if you see the Glacier, if I show you that, yes, this one. See, the charges are very cheap, $0.04 per GB, because the data whatever you try to upload inside this bucket, this data will be in the archival form. Archival means, what is meant by archival data? What is meant by archive? Anyone have an idea? What is archive? Like archive, it's not completely hidden. I can say it's something which is in a compressed, or the previous data or historic data. Okay. So what happened? The data when you upload, right? You want to save the cost. For example, there is a company, they have a terabytes of a data. That's an LIC company. Okay. They want to have infrastructure deployed in the cloud. When they want to use the S3 service, what happened? They have a previous year data. Okay. So they don't want to spend much amount on to store the data inside the cloud. That means they want to completely archive the data for the last year, and they want to use the standard storage class for the present year. That means 2024. So all the 2023 for the customer data they want to archive because they don't want to frequently access. Then they will try to choose this kind of an Glacier archival data. That means long live archive data, so that they can access whenever it is required. It will try to take some time compared to S3 standard. It will try to take to read the data. It will try to take the some amount of a time, which doesn't not very quick, but the price is very cheap. It will try to provide a very reliable performance. Based on the GB, the amount will be charged. Okay. So whenever you want to access the data quarterly, then this is a best service. S3 Glacier flexible retrieval. It is also archival data, but you can access the data. It's a very long term, like year. Long live archival data access once in a year with a retrieval times of minutes to hours. Okay. Millisecond access means, for example, I have an object here. I'll try to open. Okay. Once I try to open the data, either I can try to read the data, and I can also try to download this particular object. You can say I'm trying to download. See how quick I'm able to download. I have a data which is downloaded in my computer, because this data which I am uploading, where I'm trying to upload, when I'm trying to do a lab session before, it is uploaded in the standard storage class. For example, when I'm trying to upload the same data, see, this is the standard storage class. You can see my screen, everyone. Because the access is very reliable and frequent and the fast, because it is standard. The read and write performance is very quick. When you try to upload this kind of a data where you have a GB of data, terabytes of a data, which is in the archival dates form, then it will try to have a minimal time. It will take some time to download and access your data, because you're trying to have a minimal price to the cloud, because it is in the archival form. In the backend, it has to retrieve, compress, and trying to have. Okay, based on your requirement, your project needs, the project workloads, then you try to choose this kind of an options. So standard one zone S3 Glacier, which is accessible very quarterly. S3 Glacier Deep Archive. What is a deep archive? There is one more storage class. Long-term data archiving that is accessed once or twice in a year and can be restored within 12 hours. This is nothing but a deep archive. It is very cheap, $0.00099 per GB. One zone infrequent access. For recreatable infrequent access data that needs millisecond access, this is another kind of a service which has been added. Infrequent access. That means you don't want to access frequently, but you need a quick access. It is chargeable, 0.01. In this way, these storage classes has been defined for a user specific requirements and the workloads. Okay, I'll just bring this document and the URLs. You can try to go through for more understanding. Okay. You can see, if you try to go through storage classes, you can try to understand more. This is a storage classes, all right. So when I'm trying to upload add files, you see, you need to go to properties and trying to define only the storage class that you required. You see, there are different storage class. Under the free tier, what kind of a storage class you need to practice? What is the free tier storage class we need to practice during the lab sessions when you are offline as well? What is the free tier storage class we need to practice? Only standard storage class. That means apart from this, if you click on anything and if you try to upload the data, it will try to charge your account. You have to pay the bill. So don't try to do that. You need to use only standard general purpose storage class only. I'll select this and then I'll try to upload. That's it. You have a data, you can try to upload up to 5 GB of a storage per month. Okay, you can try to upload up to 5 GB of a storage. In this way, you can try to use these storage classes. See, I am using a standard. Once you're done with lab sessions, you can also try to delete the data. Go and click on the checkbox and try to delete the data. If you want to permanently delete, I just type this and delete the objects. That's it. My bucket is completely empty. Any doubts on storage classes? You can practice later anyway by seeing the recorded session. Any doubts on storage classes and the topics that we try to understand? These PPTs will be available online, so don't worry. All right. So we'll try to discuss. Yes, if you delete the data, then the data will be available out of the 5 GB and remaining 4.5 GB or whatever the space you can try to practice still per month. Okay. And once you cross the limit for 5 GB during the practice of entire 12 months, if it is crossed, then you will be charged with a bill. So just make sure you need to view the bill and information always from the billing and dashboard and the cost explorer. Any doubts still? You can ask in the Zoom chat. if you have any doubts. All right, let's discuss about the concept of versioning. What is a versioning? Versioning, it is a means of keeping multiple forms of an object in the same S3 bucket. So we can use this versioning concept to preserve, to retrieve, and to restore every version of an object in S3 bucket. It is simply nothing but a backup. All right. So versioning you can try to versioning feature to preserve, retrieve, and restore every version of every object stored in your buckets. With versioning, you can recover more easily from both unintended user actions and application failures. For example, I have a data in Amazon S3 bucket, and that is nothing but objects inside the bucket. That is nothing but important customer data or the project data. For example, if the data is deleted, so what is the next option? I don't have any option to retrieve. But if you enable this version, I can try to recover the data. Okay. So for example, a bucket consists of two objects, okay, with a different version IDs, such as photo.jpg, version ID is 11, and photo.jpg, version ID equal to 12. When you try to enable this versioning, it will allow you to recover the objects from the deletion or overwrite. It serves two purposes. If you delete an object, instead of deleting the object permanently, it creates a delete marker, which becomes the current version of an object. If you overwrite an object, it creates a new version of the objects and also restore the previous version of an object. So that means if you enable this kind of a versioning inside directly on the bucket level, it will try to, all objects in that bucket will be remain versioned. That means all the objects, whenever you upload to the new data, it will try to always store as a backup with the help of a version ID. Okay, we will try to see how this versioning concept will work here by doing the labs. For example, there is a demo test bucket 328, right? Let me upload a test upload. Okay, test upload file. Let me see, I'll create a test notepad file for understanding purpose. I have a test upload file. Okay, what I'll try to do, my first data upload. I just have a sample file. I'll click on save. Okay, and I'll try to upload this file here. I'll try to drag and drop. See, a test upload.txt. I'm clicking on upload. This is a file, right? I'm just trying to have it. Oh, version is not enabled, right? You can see bucket doesn't have any bucket versioning enabled. Let me try to enable the versioning. I'll click on versioning has been enabled. Okay. This is a test upload file. What information it is inside this file? Let me see. My first data upload. This is a text file which is having this information. Okay. Let's see. I'll open this file. I'll go to the versions. This is the current version. See, this is the current version which is stored. That is nothing but a test upload. Okay. Now what happened? I'll go to the same bucket. Next time I'll try to upload a new data. Okay. Let me try to open this. What I'll try to do? I'll try to upload the new data with the same name. My second data upload. I'm trying to save the file. So I'll upload the same file. Let's see what happens. I'll go and upload. You can see I'm uploading the new data and clicking on upload. So if you see, it doesn't overwrite the file. I mean, you see, it doesn't try to create a new file. That means I have uploaded the same file. But let's see what is the new file which is there. I'll click on open. The new file which is nothing but a my second data upload. All right. It did not try to you know, the old file is not there, but the new data which is already, that has been override, correct? Now what I'll try to do, I'll try to go to the bucket again. I'll try to upload new data again. Every time when I'm trying to modify, let's see, my third data, upload. I'll upload this file again. I'm uploading the same file, but with a new data inside the file, because there is a modified data. So it will try to append. What information this have? Let's see. See, my third data upload. That means there are no old files, but whatever the data which I'm trying to upload with the same file name, it is keep appending, correct? It is keep appending and trying to upload on a single file. The old files were not there. So if I go here, I'll open this bucket, I mean this file, and I'll go to the versions. Now the older versions also keep trying to back up here. This is the current version. This is the old version. This is the before version. See, I uploaded it 810, 812, 812, right? If I try to open this, the old file will also be existing here. This is the current version, right? When I'm trying to open, this is the current version. And let us see, there is a 2 lines which I have uploaded. Let me see if that is also there. See, this is a 2 lines of data, which is also there. And this is the data which is available, correct? So when I'm trying to modify the data, every time when I'm trying to upload, it will try to keep uploading the version and trying to save it. For example, I'll try to modify the data with a my first data upload. I'll remove this. I'll click on save. I'll re-upload again. Okay, let's see what happens. It will try to generate a new version again. I'll upload. Now this will become the current version. What is the current version? Only single line. I'll open this. See, only single line. So this will be becoming the current version under the versions tab. I'll open this. You can see this will become the current version. See, this will become current version. And whatever the changes, whatever the data, previous data which has been appended to this file, everything will be trying to take as a backup, which will be still available here. Okay, it will try to keep on storing the versions which is still there. So it is trying to keep multiple variants of that particular data which you have uploaded into the cloud storage. In this way, whenever user is trying to come back, you know, there are 100 set of versions which is there, then user and the customer is trying to ask you, I need to find a data which has been uploaded into some particular XYZ date and the XYZ data which has been there, which is of particular size. Can you just give me that? Then what you do, simply you need to go to the versions and trying to find that particular data based on the date and trying to download the file. See, I can also try to click on this. I can download this file as well. I can download. See, this file is getting download. If I try to open this, the data is still available. See, all files are available. When I'm trying to modify whatever the modification which I do, I can still try to do that and try to download the data as well. So this is how the version can be option will be available for us to use. I can download. See, this is the 2-line data. I can download all the data in this way. This is a single line. Open. This is a 2-line data. The second line have a 2-line. So that means whatever the modification done to this particular file, it will try to retrieve and we can try to have that used. So there is no chance for the data to be corrupted. It is trying to provide minimum of 99.9% of durability and availability. AWS is trying to have an option. If you try to enable version, then AWS is trying to guarantee you that whatever the data you try to modify, each and every object that you try to modify, then that will be definitely available as a backup. If you don't have a versioning enabled, then it won't be available. If you delete the file also, it won't be available. This kind of a backup option it is trying to provide. For example, I have the data inside this, right? You know what the last point it is trying to tell? With the versioning, you can recover more easily from both unintended user actions. By mistake, you can delete the data, or because of application issues, your data might be deleted. So, for example, this data might be deleted by mistake. I'm trying to delete. See, this by mistake, my data has been deleted. How can I recover the data? As per the definition, you see, you can recover more easily from both unintended user actions and application failures. It is saying that, see, my completely bucket is empty. Okay. So if you want to recover this data, how can you try to recover the data? With the help of a versioning, it is possible. You can see, as the versioning is enabled directly on the folder, you can simply see there is an option to click on show versions. There is a small toggle button in the here. Click on show versions. See, all the previous versions data which is still available. All the previous versions still available. See this? All these versions are available. You can still download and try to access the data. You can see. For example, I try to download this. I can still download this particular file. See, my first data is still there. Whatever the data which you try to download and which has been modified and available before, it is still available. It's clear? Everyone, see, my data is still there. That means with the help of versioning, you can try to retrieve the data and restore the data. And you can also delete this version's data as well if it is not required. And then this permanently completely deleted. I'm deleting the versioning data as well. In this way, the versioning concept is a very feasible options to restore and take a backup. Now your data is done. Your data is completely deleted. Yeah, I lost the connection. So this is how we can try to secure the data and use the backup and restore options in the bucket level with the help of a versioning. Any doubts on the versioning concept? Anyone? I don't have any versions presently. Any doubts? Did I enable the versioning? To disable. If you want to suspend, you can try to suspend the versioning so that in future the data won't be available for the versioning concept. I need to go to properties. I can try to suspend the versioning here. I acknowledge. I need to buckets. Yes, you can delete the versioning data as well. See, I have a data in some bucket. I'm deleting now. Even storing the data, it will try to, take away my free tier limitation, right? I'm trying to delete the data, but keeping the bucket is not actually chargeable. Storing the data inside a bucket is chargeable. I'm trying to delete the data. Demo bucket 123. Let me see if any data which is in the version. See, I have so much data I have to delete. Mm. Any doubts on versioning concept? Anyone can ask in the chat. This is how the storage options. We simply know the Google Drive, how to upload Google Drive, how to provide read and access, write access, right? Such kind of a similar solution in this cloud level. Clear? Deleting this. Any doubts, guys? So someone had a question, if you upload 1 GB of a data in the bucket, you have a 4 GB remaining to use. After deleting 1 GB of a data bucket, you have 1 GB available for use again. No, if you use 1 GB, you are done. You are exhausted with 1 GB of a data usage. And remaining 4 GB only you have to use. Just try to take an example of Google Drive. Even if you try to use the data, based on the limitation, you cannot use the data, right? So that means it is kind of they are trying to provide a platform to store the data for particular amount of a time for the storage, right? After that, you cannot try to have that. Yes, after deleting the data, you can still use. But 5 GB is the minimum storage you can use for that particular month. After deleting 1 GB, we can use that. Hmm. See, for example, there is a limitation for 5 GB, right, per month. So you try to utilize 5 GB of a storage can be stored inside that particular bucket for 1 month. It might be 1 GB or 2 GB, 3 GB or irrespective. Maximum of 5 GB you can store. Even if you delete and even if you upload, that is also fine. But for 1 month only, you can use that 5 GB. After 1 month, even if you use 1 GB also, you cannot try to use that. You know, out of the top of 5 GB, if you try to add 1 GB more, like 6 GB you use in that 1 month, then it will be a chargeable. Okay, that is how it works. So after 12 months of a usage of 12 months free tier, you need to use the pay as you go service. You need to pay the bill. Okay. So if you upload 5 GB once in a month and you try to free up 1 GB space and the remaining 4 GB space is there, right? And you can try to re-upload the remaining 1 GB in that 1 month and trying to store the data for 1 month in the bucket so that it won't be have any charges. But on top of the 5 GB, if you add 1 more GB again, then it will be 6 GB. Then it will try to charge you the amount. So you shouldn't use that. So maximum limitation per month is 5 GB only. Okay. So to know how much GB it is utilized, you can always try to go to the cost explorer and the billing and dashboard. It will try to show you how much storage it has been utilized. Any doubts further on this? Okay. So there is one more concept where we can try to deploy a static website inside this S3 bucket. That means this S3 storage service will be used as a storage to deploy the static websites. You remember we tried to deploy a sample website by launching a Linux server earlier in the compute classes, correct? So we have a different types of a website, right? Like a static website and a dynamic website. What is the difference between static and dynamic website? Anyone? Any idea? Difference between static and dynamic websites. What is a static website? What is a dynamic website? Someone have a question on how to access the cost explorer. If you go on the top right, there is an option called billing and cost management. If you try to open in the tab, see, under the account section, you have a billing and cost. Here you can see the information about, see, the cost analysis under the free tier. On the left side, you see this, my screen, everyone? Is my screen visible? EC2. Stick. So my free tier Amazon, my other services usage has been exhausted. Okay, that's why other services, these are available for my free tier only. Okay, here there is an option called cost explorer. It will try to show you the information. It will try to show you the bills. Okay, so here you can try to see how much, what kind of a services you've been utilized here. All right, let's go back to the static website concept. So what is static? Static means the website which we doesn't try to frequently modify. That means, for example, there is a website blogs, articles over the internet, which doesn't have any forward modification content. When I'm trying to open some website, if I try to click on some option, it doesn't redirect to some other URL or some other prompt or any other hyperlink. That means the information is kind of a static web page. It is kind of a static websites are mostly useful in the articles, blogs, and we don't try to modify from the backend. So it's completely simple HTML or index pages, right? Which has been a fixed content. Static means fixed. What is a dynamic? Dynamic website is having kind of a redirection where it have a multiple fonts, URLs, and redirection to other APIs that is kind of a dynamic website, where dynamic website is something which can be modified from the server end. That is kind of a configuration which requires a different application. Static means simple application. So that means these static websites, it can be supported inside the S3, which supports the content including HTML files, images, videos, and the client side scripts. So we'll try to see how
Okay. My Am I audible, everyone? Okay, seems suddenly my mic got disconnected. Anyway, I have some sample file, like a package, which consists of a static website content, where I can try to upload inside this bucket, and let's see how this static content can be used. Hmm. So I have unzipped the file and I'm trying to upload this particular folder. Okay. For example, pet care website. This is having a all required HTML file content, which I can try to use this as a static content over the internet, so that I can try to provide this particular static content. I can try to directly, I'm uploading all directly the folder by clicking on add folder. I'm trying to upload this particular folder itself. You can see this folder consists all the required files for the static website content. I uploaded the sample files in the Zoom chat. You can download if you need later. See, these are the files which are in place, right? Total 158 files, right? I'm trying to upload. Let's see. I'm trying to upload the folder completely so that I can try to deploy a static website. Okay. Let's see how it goes. See, it is taking time. Total remaining 145 files, 2.4 MB, 99.9%. Let's give it some time. I just send the files. If you go onto the top of the Zoom chat, you will get that. See, I'm sending the files again. Just see in the Zoom chat. You have to unzip and then you have to upload. See, my files have been uploaded here. That means complete folder. Inside this folder, all the required files for a static website has been in place. You can try to see that from your end as well. Okay. So once I try to upload, I'll go back to the bucket. See in which bucket I just upload here, test bucket 328. Okay. This is a folder. So to enable the static website, I need to click on the bucket and go to the properties. All right. Inside this properties, I have to come down. There should be an option called static website. Use this bucket to host a website or redirect the request. Use this bucket to host a website or redirect request. This is disabled. I'll try to enable here. I'll click on enable. Okay. Hosting type, host a static website. Yes. It is asking to specify the home page or the default page for the website. In this file folder, I just have a default page. Whatever the folder I applied, right? Inside index.html is the default home page. So I'm trying to mention as index.html, which is already inside that folder which I'm trying to upload, right? This is there. I'm trying to click on this and click on save. Okay. Now, see, this bucket has been hosted and it got an endpoint. So this is the URL for that particular static content. I'll just copy this URL and trying to load inside the URL, the browser. It is access denied, right? Let me see. I need to enable the public access first. I'll go to the test bucket. I'll click on this folder. I'll go to actions. You see there is an option that means make public using ACL. I'll try to make complete folder itself public. Okay. I'm trying to make public complete folder itself. I'll click on make public. So in this way, all the 158 objects inside this folder will be public only. So this is done. Still it is access denied. So where the URL is going, test bucket 328.s3 website us2.amazon.com. This is the bucket name and uswestamazon.com. Actually, I have to copy this folder here, folder name at the end of this bucket. Okay, in the URL test bucket 328.s3.uswest.com/petcare.website.template. Let's see if it is coming or not. See, when I'm trying to copy this URL, I mean, I'm just trying to include this folder name. It is not taking the content directly inside this index.html. I have to put this particular name at the end of the URL. See, a static website has been deployed. I'll just ping you this URL. Go and check from your end if you are able to see the content, because I provided the public access. See, when I'm clicking on about means it is trying to redirect the request to about.html inside this folder. When I'm trying to click on service, it is trying to go to the service.html inside this folder. When I'm clicking on price, it is trying to go to the price.html inside this folder. Okay, that means all this content is static. When I'm trying to click on anything, it is just trying to go to the default itself. See, it is kind of a static content. It doesn't have any configured items or it doesn't redirect to anywhere. If I click on support, it is trying to go to the support.html. All the required information. You are able to see the output of this, of the website which I try to deploy. Yes or no? In this way, I can try to use this S3 to host a static websites. Okay, guys. Any doubts here? See how I am able to host this? Because all the content which is in the HTML, right? It is trying to redirect the content from inside. Okay. You are able to see the right? So I just provided another file. You can also try to do a practice. So once you're done with that particular data, okay. So cloud front. Yes. So you can see, and if you are done with the work, you just go and try to disable the static website hosting, guys. I'll click on edit, disable, save changes. And once I'm done, I'll just clean up the data inside that particular bucket. I'll just delete this. All right. That is how I can try to use this static website as a content to host a static website content. Any doubts on this session? I'm just deleting the file again. So that's it. Tomorrow we'll try to discuss and trying to review some more topics inside this storage module. Okay. Any doubts? Any doubts? I hope the concept is clear for you. You can try to practice later. Yeah, admin team will be sending you the attendance link soon. I hope the attendance link will be in the description as well, I feel. Any questions? Yeah, you can upload the required files and objects into the bucket, and this website template can be used over the internet. Amar, can you send out the attendance link?
Hello.
Yeah, Amar, it seems they need attendance.
Guys, I'm sharing the attendance link once again. So please mark your attendance and share your feedback as well. Bala, you're done?
Yeah, but I'm done.
Okay. So dear participant, thank you so much for joining the session and we'll meet you on tomorrow.